There's always time for anything that's important. If presenting well is important to you, there's time for it. If building your presentation skills is important to you, you will find time. I hear from executives all the time, "Oh, TJ, I'd love to practice, but there's no time," or "We'd love to schedule a day of training, but there's no time." All you're really saying is that presentation skills are not important to you. That's all you're saying. I remember the first time I went to India. It was around 2003, 2004, and I'm on the campus of Infosys in Bangalore. And I'm conducting a full-day training with a bunch of executives. It's sort of a typical training. We start at 8:30 in the morning. We work through lunch, finish at 5. Now, typically when I work with executives, after a long day, they're on camera, they're speaking up and down, there's adrenaline flows, they're tired. At the end of a long day, they say, "Oh, I'm exhausted. I'm just going to go home," or they want to go out, have a drink with me, relax, or have dinner. We finished the day of training. It's at 5 o'clock, and I noticed all the executives are still sitting in their seats. But they've all done one thing. They've pulled out their laptop. I went up to one, "Sanjay, what are you doing? We're finished. You can go home now." He's like, "Oh, no, TJ. I'm now going to do 6 hours of work right here, catching up on email I missed by being in the training mode all day." I thought, "Oh, okay, that's dedication. That's a work ethic." Now, this same gentleman was telling me about his experiences with a cell phone or a telephone service in India. He said earlier in the 90s, he and his family put in an order for phone service in their house. Took 18 months to get the order in. Took another 18 months before the phone was actually installed. A 3-year process just to get phone service. And now he worked at one of the largest communications and consulting firms in the world, Infosys. And it really drove home for me a point that if you're motivated, there's time for it. If you're motivated, you'll work for it. And so don't kid yourself and say there's no time to be a better presenter, there's no time to learn presentation skills, there's no time to rehearse. Yeah, there's time for anything that's important to you. So why do I drive that story home? What message is there? The message is, if you want to learn presentation skills, you will. Even if you have to put your regular job off and work till midnight. It can happen. The other thing I use this story for is if I'm speaking to young people, especially young people in America, to drive home the point of you're now competing with people all over the world. There are about 1 billion people who speak English around the world who don't live in the United States. And they're learning good communication skills. A lot of times they're learning it from me. Many of you, in fact, most of you watching this course are not in the United States. I congratulate you. For those of you in the United States, you often had an unfair advantage because the rest of the world wanted to do work with an American. They wanted to do work with someone who has strong communication skills and American-style English skills. Well, guess what? That advantage is evaporating as more and more people around the world are taking the time through this platform and others to really learn how to communicate and present their ideas effectively, and they're burnishing their presentation skills. So that's the real message, and that's why I tell this story.